LoreWarrior Online double feature, the Thresher. Overview. Similar in many ways to the heavier Thor, favoured by Clan Jade Falcon, the Thresher is a Clan Diamond Shark mech ideally suited to garrison duty. With a versatile selection of weaponry and excellent manoeuvrability, the 60-ton Thresher can adapt to a variety of terrain. Circumstances prevent the Diamond Sharks from fielding a significant garrison force, so the Thresher has yet to be deployed in the Inner Sphere. Little data exists about this unusual design. Capabilities. Obviously intended to fill a number of different battlefield roles, the Thresher seems to excel at none. Jump jets and myoma acceleration signal circuitry give it superior speed and maneuverability for its class, but its weapons fail to take full advantage of the swiftness. An Ultra 10 autocannon in the right torso is a solid weapon at all ranges, but lacks the punch of larger models. Each arm mounts a medium pulse laser and a standard SRM-6 launcher, along with an ER medium laser in the torso. These weapons do well at short range, but fall short of the firepower expected of a Clan Heavy. All in all, this design neither succeeds spectacularly nor fails completely. One Inner Sphere commander made an interesting observation about this mech, and after looking at the intelligence reports on the Thresher, he commented that the whole design is like one big compromise, just like a bill in the assembly that no one wants to pass, but no one is willing to kill. The things get modified and diddled in committee until it's equally unacceptable to everyone. The Thresher looks like its designers went through the same process. And considering the democratic nature of the Diamond Sharks relative to other clans, it is possible that the Inner Sphere commander may be closer to right than he might suspect. Deployment. No Threshers have been sighted in battle or in garrison forces. The data provided in this briefing comes from intercepted Diamond Shark transmissions, as well as intelligence gathered from classified debriefings of Phelan Kell's Wolf Clan refugees. Field commanders should anticipate inconsistencies between the information given in this briefing and the actual mech should they ever encounter one. 3058 Upgrade Overview. When first discovered amongst the clans, the Thresher was not much of a surprise to the Inner Sphere experts, as it was a mystery. A short-range brawler with the mobility of most Clan Heavy mechs, this design was obviously intended as a defensive unit, perhaps geared toward anti-infantry or anti-vehicle work, so its appearance in Clan garrison formations wasn't wholly unexpected. But the Thresher's inability to excel in any particular area led some experts to suggest that it was designed by committee, and only later data, uncovered soon after intelligence in the homeworlds learned of the long-range Thresher 2 variant among Clan Hell's horses, revealed more about the origins of this mech. When followed up, these hints eventually bore out the theory that the Thresher was in fact a baseline for the more fearsome Thor Omnis, which originated as a joint project between the horses and the Diamond Sharks sometime in the late 2860s, and was inspired in much the same way as the Ryoken was by the older Corvus. Capabilities. Weighing in at 60 tons, the Thresher is a modest heavy mech by clan standards, featuring only average mobility, armor, and firepower despite the extensive use of sophisticated clan equipment. Its firepower, centered on a mix of pulse lasers, SRMs, and a heavy autocannon, allow for medium-range damage with high dispersal, suggesting a focus on anti-tank and infantry work. These factors, common to many uniquely Hell's Horses designs, were among the first suggestions of the Thresher's origins as Inner Sphere knowledge of the clans grew, while the known Diamond Shark origins for many of the design's components eventually enabled experts to piece together the joint development origins of this mech. Deployment. Interestingly enough, the Diamond Sharks have all but removed the Thresher from their active forces over the centuries since its debut, selling many of them off to make room for newer second-line chassis. Indeed, as of most of these recent reports, most of the machines appear to be concentrated among the Blood Spirits, Fire Mandrels, and Hell's Horses. Variants. The recent discovery of a minor variant of the Thresher, designated the Thresher 2 in the Hell's Horses Talman, was the key that eventually unlocked the mystery origins of the design. Built for long-range hitting power, this model trades the DL Ultra Autocannon 10 for an OVR-X LB5 and swaps the arm-mounted Series 14A pulse lasers with Series 7J ER large lasers. It was soon after the discovery of this variant that manufacturing data on the standard Thresher's loadout came to light, revealing a manufacturing commonality between the Thresher and the lighter, older Corvus. Notable mech warriors. Nova Commander Zoli. A Hell's Horses veteran of Khan Malavai Fletcher's ill-advised war with the Ghost Bears, Zoli hails from the remains of the disbanded Gamma Galaxy and was assigned to the 412 Strike Cluster of the newly formed Kappa Galaxy during Khan James Cobb's ongoing reorganization plan. A moderate crusader with deep-rooted and vocal grudges against all of the current invading clans, Zoli has been involved in a spate of trials against both the Falcons and Wolves on Eden, always as the attacker. In the waning months of 3068, however, these challenges suddenly stopped. Subsequent counter-challenges by the other clans went unanswered until Coyote forces unexpectedly arrived over Eden in late 3069 and issued a bachal for half of the Horses' enclave. In the ensuing clash, Zoli and his Thresher II were captured by the victorious Coyotes' 50th Assault Cluster. Some Falcon observers have since declared the nature of the Horses' Coyote trial suspect. However, they note that Zoli and his entire Nova displayed none of their customary enthusiasm during the battle. Neither the Horses nor the Coyotes have responded to these charges. So, the Thresher, mass 60 tons, chassis is a DSHM Endo 2.4, power plant 300 XL. Its cruising speed is 54, its max speed is 86 kph, but with mask 108 kph. It has jump jets of Grand Thrust Mark III, giving it 150 meters capacity, and its armor is Forging ZK-10 standard. Its armament is a 1 Type DL Ultra Autocannon 10, 2 Mark 22 Type 3 SRM-6 launchers, 2 Series 14-8 medium pulse lasers, and 1 Series 2H extended range medium laser. It's manufactured on manufacturing plant DSF-51, and its primary factory is Strato Domingo. Communication system is Crossband System 20, and its targeting and tracking is the D-Track Suite 1. So what's this translate to then, listeners? Well, it's a mech with a walk of 5 and a run of 8, 10 with the mask, or a jump of 5. It has 26 heat dissipation provided by 13 double heat sinks, and an armor factor of 152, 9 on the head, 22 on the CT with 7 on the rear, 17 on the right and left torso with 5 on the rear, and 14 on the arms and 21 on the legs. Its equipment is an Ultra 10 located in the right torso with 20 shots. It's got mask in its left torso, an ER medium laser in the left torso, an SRM-6 in the right arm with 15 shots, a medium pulse laser in the right arm, and the left arm has the same. It has jump jets located in the right and in the right and left leg, and one in the CT. It's you know what? It's a spud of a mech. I won't deny that. That thing is weird. It does definitely echo the Thor in its sort of origin roots kind of thing there, with the off-center cockpit, the weapon system mounted on the shoulder, the unusual design of it. It's not horrible. I don't dislike it, and I think it's a fantastic example of that kind of early clan design and how they would sort of perfect it and move on into developing Omnimech technology, like, you know, with stuff like the Woodsman and so on. And this being like the kind of proto Thor is really cool. I like that idea, and the idea of taking this and sort of redesigning bits of it, adding obviously a bit more weight, and it's 70 tons by comparison. And it's also interesting because it's a mech that's still a little bit of a mystery, and it's barely encountered or even seen by a vast majority of Innisphere pilots. It's this mech that many will never hear of, for instance. It's interesting. Definitely one, looking at it from like a perspective of running it on a campaign or just a battle in general. Alright, general battles, yeah, you just pick it. It's got a battle value or whatever point system you're using, and you plonk it on the table, whatever. But as part of a kind of campaign or a narrative you might come up with, it would strictly be something where it would be like an inter-clan rivalry thing, because as this states, this mech has never been to the Innisphere, and if it does, it must be much later on, when some clans might be a bit more established, and you might see a couple of these things just acting as provisional garrison clusters on some rearward system that would hardly ever be visited by anyone from the Innisphere. So yeah, it's one of those like incredibly rare sights, and for a mech that, you know, isn't like standout amazing, but much like the Thor, which definitely like in games like MWO, the Thor gets kind of overlooked. It gets sort of looked down upon, but it is honestly one of the best Omnimechs that are in the initial clan lineup, because it's just so efficient at what it does. And this is much the same. This is a mech that is relatively efficient. Again, it's a stripped down loadout, but it can do pretty decent damage in the mid-range. And that's what you have to be afraid of. And it's got more than enough heat dissipation to handle it. It can jump. It's got okayish armor for its in speed. It is like an everyman's kind of machine. That's kind of what the Thor was. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I do like it. Thresher, it's an interesting one. I like mechs with an interesting little background right up like that, and it keeps them interesting. But I think we've reached the end of what I can ramble about with this one. So thanks for listening, everybody. Have a good week. I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.